are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. I honor the path that brought you here today. Yes. All right. All right. And then if you are looking for other ways to lean into this community, this is our weekly schedule. You can see all of the details and registration links on our website. A few things that we want to discuss and highlight this morning. First is the annual meeting. As you know, this was rescheduled from a few weeks ago due to an outage in, what was it? In the internet, that's right. I was like, what went wrong that day? It seems like, see, I've let it go. I just let it go. But we'll have our annual meeting right after service. That'll be here in the sanctuary and online. And then after that, we'll move into the social hall for what I like to call munch and mingle. All right, also to highlight, Yoga with Kathy is back, and she's here, yay. We'll be doing this Monday and Thursday from 11 a.m. to noon. I've heard really great things about this, so if you're looking for a way to straighten up and realign yourself, please be sure and join us for that. Also, Reverend Angelica has started, I think it started this week, the Essential Earnest Homes class.
Let me say something.
Okay, she wants to say something.
This class is actually starting this week, and I'm excited about it. I love teaching classes. Please notice, those of you who've already signed up, there'll be a packet over there with your name on it for the workbook, and I'm giving you the workbook for both sessions. This first session that we're doing before I go to Scotland, and the session after I come back from Scotland, or there's some of us going too. And if you still want to sign up, I actually have a few envelopes with no name on them, so you could have a packet. So there's still sign-up sheets there. This is a wonderful way to learn more about our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, where he got his inspiration, how he learned how to think this way, and, for each one of us. So, such a powerful teaching. So thank you.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I hope we have a great turnout for that. And then I think, Bev, did you want to say something this morning too? Okay.
I'll just make this real quick. I'm trying to find a home for a little dog. One of our clients at HCAR passed us last week unexpectedly. He had a little dog named Raja, and we're trying to find a home for Raja so she doesn't have to go back to the pound. And if anyone wants more information, please see me, or I tacked one of these up on the back bulletin board in the community room. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hopefully. All right. Also, a reminder about our bookstore. As always, we have some really great titles there. This is a great way to just re-engage and inspire yourself. They are 25% off or as marked. And the little pantry is doing a great job feeding our community. Remember that it can be fed. You can bring things in on Sundays, and it can also be fed Mondays from noon to 4. And we're looking for shelf-stable items like baby food, things with pop-top cans, and shelf-stable milks and juices. All right. And now I would like to invite Burl up to present the Member of the Month.
Yeah. I wonder if she knows yet. Where is she?
Who is it? Say it.
Oh, I gotta find her face. I want to.
She's in the middle row in your back.
Oh, she's so obvious. I missed it. Vicki White. Hi. Well, Vicki, if you don't know, is our squadron leader.
Oh, the Love Squad.
Yeah. And has taken on many jobs helping many congregants who live ill or need to get to an appointment or need food. She's the one. If nobody steps up, she'll do it. So I first met Vicki when she first came here. We connected right away because we're both from Huntington Beach. And both knew Peggy Bassett. And so it was kind of like a kinship. Anyway, I really respect all that she's done. She's given a lot to this congregation. A lot of her energy, a lot of her wisdom, and a lot of her money too, I think.
Thank you very much.
Anyway,
This is a surprise.
this is for you.
Oh, that's fun.
And
That's
this
fun.
is going
Isn't that fun?
up on the wall.
The most wanted.
AKA.
You want to keep that?
Yeah, we're going to put this up on the wall.
What amazing community that we have. I just love all of these recognitions. And we have one more announcement. Max, did you want to come up and say a few words?
Mess. Yesterday we had our highway cleanup, and we do it every other month, and we had a wonderful time. And I have some notes here somewhere. I'll wing it. Oh yes, you never know, do you? Okay, we had five participants. James Eddington. James? Yep. Brian Railing. Thank you. And let's see, Vicki Fikes, who's not a member of our church. Does she attend a church locally?
She used to be a,
Pardon?
she used to be a member.
Ah, thank you. And Eileen Wolf, she attends the Temple Beth El, and myself. Yay! Okay, we got 14 bags. 14 bags, and the weather cooperated. It didn't start raining till I don't know if it ever rained until the evening. So we were very lucky there. And Caltrans is paying us $250 every time we do this, so that's an added bonus. And aside from taking care of the climate, global warming, planet. Okay, and our next cleanup is May 13th. Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Our theme this month is cultivating authenticity. And with that, we will move into our contemplative meditation. I'm not sure who's doing it. It is. I'm doing it. Okay, it is Les. Okay. With Les and Jackson. Come on. You need a hand. Got it?
This is a poem by Rumi called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may not be clearing you out. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for
Thank you, Jackson. And I thank this center for being my sanctuary and the guest house for all my dreams. The place that takes in my energy and transforms it. There is one life, and we are all in and of that life. And we give as it gives through us. And I am grateful. And so it is.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
you. And now, with gratitude, I welcome Reverend Angelica.
A living sanctuary. Boy, that sounds so good. I just love that idea. That's what each one of us are, in truth, a living sanctuary. It makes me think about, well, how do I treat this sanctuary? You know, am I constantly complaining or belittling it? Or am I in adoration, in appreciation? A living sanctuary. So this morning, or this month rather, we're working on cultivating authenticity, and today we're going to talk about dropping the masks. And I found something in the Ahia CSL in Pasadena, California. Reverend Scott Olson wrote this in his newsletter, and I just really glommed onto it. In my first year of college, I took an English class where we read essays on various topics, discussed them, and wrote a short piece in response. Years later, I remember that one of the essays talked about the masks we create to live behind and how we are different based on the mask we wear. One example is how Clark Kent is fundamentally different from Superman. They both love Lois Lane, but their approach is so completely different that they seem like separate people. Clark Kent was shy and a little submissive toward Lois, but Superman was bold and always in control of the situation. This essay made me realize I had different personalities based on where and what I was doing. I had family, school, work, and party masks. I wondered, though, what I was really like if I dropped all those masks. Each of these masks was a covering that hid the true me, and I put them on because I thought each of these environments required a different Scott to show up. Not you, Scott. Sometimes I needed to be different to be accepted, and other times I needed to be different to bring forth various aspects of my personality to be successful. The party mask helped get dates, but it would have been a flop at work. For years, I felt like my world was fractured based on my activities. I was different behind each mask, and I had to maintain separation between my worlds. It would be a disaster if my work and party friends were to overlap. Keeping these different aspects of myself and the slivers of my world separate was exhausting. And again, I started to wonder who the real me was. It wasn't until I found the Center for Spiritual Living and began to immerse myself into the teachings of this philosophy that I started to tweeze out which parts of the different masks were also part of the honest Scott. I found that cultivating authenticity in my life is a lifelong practice requiring awareness of my thoughts and motivations. Which parts of me were pieces that were always there? Which parts got replaced by the mask based on the perceived need? As I looked inside of me rather than at the outside world, I started to find out who I was if I had just dropped all the masks. I found a me that was similar to who I was as a boy before I had become so calculating and jaded. This me was more genuine in dealing with others, presented who I was without masks, and allowed myself to live from a vulnerable place inside me. Of course, I still have some masks, as we all do. But the more I can drop the show and be authentic in my life and relationships, the happier I find myself. I love that idea about the different attributes or the different parts of his life that he talks about in which he wears masks or doesn't wear masks. And I started to think about how we're all wearing masks. One of the masks that I've discovered recently is that a phrase that says, "I'm fine." How many of you use that? Well, how are you doing? I'm fine. What would happen if we actually told the truth and said what we were feeling, but were able to say it in a way that didn't throw it all out on the other person? What would it be like? The problem with masks is that when they become the norm, we lose ourselves in the process of trying to please others. So when we wear masks, we keep parts of ourselves hidden. And you know, I'm thinking, with all the stuff that's happening in the outer realm, it's all reflective of what's going on in the collective consciousness, and it's time for us to stop hiding. It's time for us to step out and be Superman or women instead of Clark Kent. I mean, I think of Clark Kent, my body language immediately goes in, right? You know, which I know for myself that I've done that quite a bit. To be standing up straight and feeling the vibration of how powerful the divine is within me, that's the Superman part. And I just had this flash of being a little kid and playing with my brother in the backyard, and both of us were wearing towels tied around our necks so that we could, you know, fly around the backyard and be Superman. So when we think about who we really are, I think that there's a fear attached to that, who we really are. And because of fear being the predominant consciousness, it's hard to break out of that. And yet, what I want us to begin to remember all the time is that our real self is not this body, it's light. It's a divine energy. And we just happen to make this body around us so we could live in this particular dimension. And yet even our earth suits, so to speak, we complain about those all the time. Right? So light is supposed to be revealed. And as he said in his little article there, keeping it under a bushel, so to speak, is exhausting. I mean, have you ever told a little lie here, and then you realize that you see that person that you told that little lie to, and they might ask you something about that little lie that you told, not knowing that it's a little lie, though they probably really knew it anyway. And so then you have to, oh yeah, what was it that I said? Now let's see. You know, you have to figure out, now how do I go on with this? I happen to be watching, I just discovered that Outlander is on Netflix, and going to Scotland, I thought, oh, I'm going to watch this and see, you know, the ancient, I've already seen the town of Inverness. I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to be there pretty soon, you know, and to see all this ancient buildings and the beauty of the surroundings and everything. But I've watched the various characters start out with lies, like, I can't even remember her name right now, the main character. But Claire, that's right, thank you. Claire has touched this stone, gone back into the past, and suddenly has to figure out, how do I do this? And so she realizes that in order to survive, she has to create a life that would be in that particular time period and keep those lies going. And of course, the various people around her are sensing that she's not telling the whole truth, But if she tells them that she's stuck through this portal, time portal, they're all going to think she's a witch and probably hang her or something or burn her. But, but I've seen in this show even how exhausting it is for her to keep this story going. So sometimes wearing a certain mask makes it feel like we're safe. But it not only takes energy away from us, it keeps us from being able to feel real, true heart connections with each other. Dropping these masks is a way of uplifting our self-esteem. It's a way of restoring our self-worth. I found a note in the notes that the Global Vision team does for this particular talk, and they said a phrase that I really thought about. Pretending to be okay when we're not prevents us from ever being okay. Yipes. So, to put down, to take off the mask, we have to speak our truth and be who life knows us to be, and life is with a capital L there. And then I thought about, well, what is it that we're so afraid of? And one of the things that I've noticed as we start to become more courageously vulnerable, which I've seen in quite a few people, is that the risk we think we're taking is how the other person is going to react. That's why we do what we do, because we're afraid of what the other person is going to say or think or feel about us. So if you think of some examples here. So even if life feels awkward, show that you care. You may not want to, but allow yourself to ask for help. How many of you are, oh no, I can do it? You wish you know what they were thinking, so be the one that opens up first. Being real, as we talked about last week with the Velveteen Rabbit story, is not easy. Because a lot of parts of us, society, so to speak, doesn't want us to be that way. And as I'm watching Outlander, I'm watching men's reaction to women. Because Claire is not a woman of that age, and so she's not meek. She doesn't do whatever the man tells her to do, etc. She speaks to men in ways that we would now, straight out. And all of the men around her are freaking out. But she doesn't even stop to think of what their reaction is. She just says what she knows is her truth. The truth is, how they're going to react is out of our control. You have to be you. You have to be real with a capital R. How anybody else acts is out of your control. Always has been, always will be. You can only control your own self. And what I know is that as we love ourselves more fully and we allow ourselves to practice being vulnerable, we become less sensitive to the opinions of others. Wouldn't that be nice? Less sensitive to the opinions of others. I still find myself, somebody will say something and my mind takes it off in another direction. And yet I've learned how to say, I'm not quite understanding you. Were you saying that this is happening? The weather app is playing for somebody's phone. One of the things I've noticed is when I say my truth, when I start feeling weird and I say my truth, the other person usually goes, well, that's not what I meant at all. Because I built a story about it from my past experiences. So we want to, what flashes in my mind right now is the cover of Ram Dass's book, Be Here Now. Not living in the past with all the things that people told us that we were doing wrong or right or whatever. Not in some future where we're afraid of things that people might say or do or whatever. But stand right in this current moment and allow yourself to be vulnerable. And one of the things I've learned about vulnerability is you're always going to feel vulnerable. There's never going to be a place where you're totally not vulnerable. And thank God for that. We want to feel our feelings. We want to have our emotions. However, we don't need to put on a mask so that we're putting someone else out there, a false self. So we wear masks for celebrations. We wear masks for fun. We wear masks to be safe. But the masks that we've put over our hearts, it's time to take those off. It's time to let ourselves be full of courage, the courage to be vulnerable, the courage to be truly who we are, warts and all, as my mother used to say. And who you are, who we all are, is that light being that I mentioned a few minutes ago. It's an expression of God that has embodied itself so that it can have experiences, unique, different experiences as each one of us. So that idea of thinking that we're in a sacred place becomes even more important, more valuable. Whether we're thinking about being in our bodies, or we're thinking about being in the center, we're thinking about being in the grocery store, wherever it might be, we are always in a sacred place because you're a sacred being. And everything around you is also sacred. There is nothing that is not spirit. Science is telling us over and over and over again, all there is energy. And we get to make and use this energy the way we want to. So why not make it about love and about joy? And let ourselves have all the feelings. There's nothing wrong with grieving. There's nothing wrong with being angry. There's nothing wrong with any of the feelings that we might have felt were bad. We wouldn't have them if there was really something wrong with them. It's how we choose to express them, or how we choose to not express them and let them eat away at us. So just imagine for a moment that who you are is this free-flowing stream of energy. And that energy is love. That energy is divine love. And this is a good thing, a very good thing. So let's be supermen or superwomen. Let's be super beings. Let all of that stuff we've thought we had to hide, or the different masks that we wear for different events, etc., let all that go. Just be. Be here now. Let's do our affirmation. I feel new life born in my very soul as I celebrate more hours of light in the day for the next 6 months. I anticipate much love, much joy, and much energy as I build the next level of my experience. I am oh so grateful for life as it presents itself, and so it is. Take a breath. And let's go into prayer. How grateful I am to know the truth of my being, the truth of our being. How grateful I am to know that all there is divine, divinity everywhere, sacredness everywhere. How grateful I am to realize that I no longer have to be anybody that I'm not really. I can be my true self. In fact, the whole universe is supporting me in being my true self. And so I open my mind and my heart, dropping all the masks that I was wearing, thinking I was protecting myself, and realize that there's nothing to protect myself from. There is only spirit. There is only light. And I realize that as I take off my masks, the light that I truly am is able to shine forth so much brighter than it ever has before. And the light of my energy, the light of the love that I truly am, moves out into the universe and blesses untold numbers of people and returns back to me, pressed down and running over. So I declare right now that I am ready and willing to be vulnerable, to allow myself to cultivate my authenticity, to know that the truth of me is a capital T truth. It's spirit expressing. And I am so grateful for this. I'm so grateful to remember. Because when I was a child, I knew who I was. We all did. We didn't need masks. We just were. And so I hear the words of the Master Teacher Jesus saying, "Come to me as a little child." So I allow myself to rip off those masks and play. Play in the sacredness of life itself. And I know for each one of us that this week we have an experience that shows us how easy it is to take those masks off and to be real, to be love, to be the light. And I'm grateful for this. So I release these words into divine law, knowing that they are already so, and so it is. And our musical gift this morning is Anna and Friends.
Part of it was Reverend Angelica's theme. I think it's the theme for the year. Walk our talk. And the other part was Corinthians 13. And so keeping it vague, but inspiring. We're going to walk our walk. We're going to talk our talk. And we're going to walk our walk, we're going to talk our talk, we're going to walk our talk together.
Call and response. Us and
the guitar wants to warm up a little bit.
my side, please stand.
All right, take it easy, Donna. Take it easy. You don't have to stand up until you get the fever, all right? Over here, and then I'm gonna talk my talk over here, and then we're gonna walk and talk, and tell the world all about love. Let's do that again. I'm gonna walk my walk. I'm gonna talk my talk. I'm gonna walk my walk. I'm gonna talk my talk. We're gonna walk our talk and tell the world all about love. All right, take it. Love is always patient. Love is always kind. Love doesn't envy. Love has no pride. Love is slow to anger. Love always perseveres. Love will protect you, wipe away your tears. That's what we walk our walk. That's how we talk our talk. That's why we walk our walk. That's how we talk our talk. That's why we walk our talk and tell the world all about love. Let's do that one more time. Oh, that's why we walk our walk. Oh, that's why we talk our talk. Oh, that's why we walk our talk. That's why we walk our talk. Oh, that's why we walk our talk and tell the world all about love. Here I go. Oh, the love honors others, not seeking for itself. Keeps no records of right or wrong. Time on some shelf. Love is never cruel. Love rejoices in truth. Love is the healer, the fountain of youth. That's why we walk our walk. That's why we walk our talk. That's why we walk our walk. That's why we walk our talk. Oh, that's why we walk our talk. Thank you, choir. Well, we're going to walk out and we're going to take a little break and then we're going to come back.
All right. Well, thank you, Anna, and thank you, Center Band, for that amazing music. I just love it when we have the whole band here. Should we give them another hand? Yes, and Anna's original song. And thank you, Reverend Angelica, for that amazing message today. I'm so inspired. And so now we have come to the place in our service where we have the opportunity to lean into the practice of abundance through circulating our good in that place where we know that it is as we give out that we may open up that room for receiving. And so I invite you to take whatever is yours to give today. If you're an online giver, to grab an Ernie Buck, or if you're joining us in our online community. Marvin, can you pop forward to that slide of where the online community can give online? So pop one forward. You can go ahead and make checks out here or donate directly through PayPal, and we'll go ahead and go back to that affirmation. So take your check, your cash, even if it's only an affirmation, whatever you feel called that is yours to give in circulation today, and bring it to your heart. And let's say this offering together. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses the sinner, all in it and beyond. And so it is. And so we just speak a word of blessing over every gift, knowing that it is pressed down and overflowing in that place of circulation, that every giver and every receiver is absolutely blessed, that these donations go out to create this beautiful center and all of the work that supports our community and beyond. For this and for every gift that comes back to every giver, I am so grateful. I call it good and very good, and so it is. Thank you. All right. And now we have an opportunity for somebody to come up and say the community statement of inclusion. Who would like to come up to do the statement today?
Oh, I thought someone else said it.
Everybody all at once? Who's coming up? Oh, getting your glasses? All right.
Get your glasses
We'll let her do it. You got to sing.
Come
today,
on up
so we'll
here,
let
girl.
her out there.
Goodness.
Okay, because I can't see that. All right, the community statement of inclusion and affirmation. We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. And together, we know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
And speaking of loving each other well, we're going to continue this on with our annual meeting after we sing our song. So I invite you to stand and sing. We will have kind of a brief break to grab some coffee, go to the bathroom, and then come back so we have a chance to get seated. So if you want to go ahead and stand for this, you are welcome. We're doing Everything I Need to Know. I can't promise to, but I'll stand up.
Everything I need to know about what lies before me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me. The mind of God within me. Everything I need. Everything I need to be real about what lies before me. Everything I need to be real about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me. The mind of God within me. Everything I need to be strong about what lies before me. Everything I need to be strong about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me. The mind of God within me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me. To the mind of God within me. To the mind of God within me. To the mind of God within me.